Welcome to the Professor's DuBois channel. This is Professor Corey, and this video is a mini lecture based on our third lecture covering material from Chapter 2. Disclaimer: this is in no way meant to replace or be equivalent to our actual lecture, where we discuss and practice the material in much more detail. We ended our last lecture with some practice for naming binary covalent compounds. The answers are provided on this slide. Today, our lecture begins with binary ionic compounds. These are compounds composed of two elements with the addition of a metal as one of the elements. Remember, binary covalent compounds consist of nonmetals only, and we use prefixes to name them. The rules for naming binary ionic compounds are different. The formulas are arranged such that the metal ion comes first in the formula, followed by the nonmetal ion, and the overall charge from the ions is equal to 0. The example shows the calcium and chloride ions, and the formula is written as CaCl2 because we need two chlorides to balance the charge on the calcium ion. The formula must be written such that it is neutral or a net charge of 0. To name ionic compounds, we will start with the metal and simply name the element just as it is written on the periodic table. Our 5 polyvalent metals need to have special mention in the form of a Roman numeral written after with the number representing the charge on the ion. The anion is named next, and we drop the end and add the suffix ide, ide. You will now notice that many chemical names that you encounter end with ide. These are some examples we went over in class to practice writing and naming formulas. You have to first determine the charge on each common ion and then arrange them so the overall charge is neutral. Afterward, you can name the compound. Na and F, sodium and fluorine, can be combined in a 1-to-1 ratio, so the formula is NaF and the name is sodium fluoride. A method referred to as drop and switch is useful for finding the ratio that makes the compound neutral. The charge of one ion becomes the subscript of the other ion in the formula. The only watch out is to reduce to the lowest terms, as ionic compounds are expressed as the lowest ratio of ions. See how barium sulfide is simply BAS, as the ions can be combined in a 1-to-1 ratio to form a neutral compound. Polyatomic ions have a charge and are made up of nonmetals. Since they have a charge, we can predict that any compound that contains one will be an ionic compound. When naming the polyatomic ion, we use the name as it's written. We do not change the suffix. To make a neutral compound, we sometimes have to have more than one polyatomic ion. If so, we write parentheses around the ion, then the subscript to represent how many. See the iron 3 dichromate example, where we needed 3 of the dichromate ions for a neutral formula? This means there are 6 chromium atoms. We end this lecture with a recap of all the naming learned so far. Study and apply this set of rules carefully while practicing your naming. This will require a lot of practice to become proficient. Thanks for watching. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you would like to see more mini lectures on the Professor's DuBois channel.